There we go. Hello, everybody. I'm Lonnie,
I'm Mark.
and this is just malarkey
Malarkey.
now.
We've shortened it.
Yeah, because we've been covering so much other stuff. We can't do a show just on comic books. So
We tried.
We tried.
We really did.
But it wasn't going to happen. And it would have happened, but I've started reviewing all these comic books, and it's just impossible for me to read up on back issues for this on top of all the reviews that I'm doing right now.
I will admit, it's been a challenge to kind of keep up with all the current stuff myself. And then, like we started off doing, stories of,
We
old
basically
stories.
covered all the neat crap that we like.
Yeah, and then and now we're on to current stuff. So, and then of course we started talking about movies and different things like that. So yeah, it makes sense to take the comic book out of it. Just call it malarkey.
Yeah, because we're doing trailers, we're doing Game of Thrones, we're doing comic books, we're doing anything, literature.
Untitled Nerd Network malarkey.
Yeah,
I like it.
That's
That
way
was a good
too
read.
long.
UNN malarkey?
No,
UNNM?
this is just malarkey. I'm not making it any longer than it
Fair
has
enough.
to be. It's too much typing.
So
This particular sit-down discussion is the Game of Thrones finale preview.
what are we going to see?
And yeah, that's pretty much. We're just going to sit around and do some guessing. There's already some thought that now if you're not caught up to the season finale,
Yeah, if you haven't watched Beyond the Wall,
Go away.
warning, spoilers be hereafter.
yeah.
So keep that in mind.
But I think really the big thing is anybody going to die? Let's say is anybody, let's say the main dozen. Is anybody out of the top dozen going to die?
I think we may lose Littlefinger.
Think so?
I think I've been reading a whole bunch of articles this week, and there was a lot of speculation that the conversation that Arya had with Sansa was like her threatening her, and then she left her the dagger.
They're saying she was saying it loud
Right.
enough to where Littlefinger could hear it.
Well, there's that, and then I think the other thing is that it was her teaching Sansa a lesson that you don't get to be who you wanted to be. You've got to be who you are now.
Yeah.
And by putting the dagger in her hand, I think she has set up Sansa to kill Littlefinger. Because Sansa's already told us several times that she doesn't trust Littlefinger.
Yeah, I don't know. That, of course, that's as possible as anything.
So my thought is that one will lose him. That's my hope.
Me too.
Yeah.
I don't know. He can play the game, and we already saw him outplay Arya. So
I
don't
think
know.
Arya's playing him.
I hope you're right. Maybe we're supposed to think that he's playing her, but
Right.
it's really the other way around.
One big mind game.
I think she is playing the game of lies with him, and she is playing it a lot better than he plays the Game of Thrones.
It's true, and she could be any. She could be
Any one of the guys that she's talking to.
Yeah. We only got like.
This is the last episode of this season.
It's 78 minutes, I think. It's the longest.
81
one.
is what I heard.
Right, 81.
Yeah,
So that's the longest one ever, I think.
Yeah.
But it's not enough.
No, it won't be.
And then we gotta wait, a year.
A
Probably.
year, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
we're still waiting for the next book too. So,
Yeah. I don't know when that's gonna happen.
for those of us that have read the books,
Well,
it's
there's
just
like another thought. Will the next book come out before the next season?
I'm going to say no.
You really think so?
I'm going to. Well, I don't know. He's supposed to be releasing it. There's been some talk.
Will
from his
he
publisher.
survive to finish the book?
Well, he's
Oh.
also said, I read something with him. He said, I don't have to end the books the same way the show ends.
Right.
Like, he's like, this is what we planned. He's like, but as I'm writing, I might be taken in a different direction.
I read the same thing too, where he was talking about there's a lot of stuff that happened in the books that now that he's seen these characters and put faces to these characters, there's a lot of stuff that he would have gone back and changed. And there's a lot of stuff that's going to differentiate from where it was in the books and what's going on. I mean, we've already seen that. There's been huge differential in the books. Because, in the books, Robb didn't have a wife at the Red Wedding. And she had a pregnant wife at the Red Wedding in the
Right.
and of course Tyrion has a nose in the TV series, but in the books
it's chopped off. So I think there's an opportunity. I mean, he could go whatever direction he wants to. I mean, and he may decide. I wrote that. I helped them come up with that ending. Now I want to try this.
Let's do this ending.
You know.
So, just for the record, you don't mind being on YouTube because we are filming for our Untitled Nerd Network
No,
YouTube
not at all.
podcast. Okay, just to make sure because we want to make sure this Infinity Flux is our sponsor,
Right.
And so that's why we film here so that we're on location. And
That's actually like the perk of filming here is like people have opinions and
Yeah,
stuff.
right.
It's
We-
like
Yeah.
you never know what kind of insight you might get.
hey, you know what? And we'll mention it to you, and it's a good time to mention it to our viewers. If you subscribe to our channel on YouTube, you will be entered to win this month's or next month's?
Next month's
Next Loot Crate.
Okay.
So you'll be entered into a chance to win. Basically, you got to subscribe to the channel.
Yeah.
If you don't do it while you're here, you can send us a screenshot on our Facebook page or on our YouTube channel. And then once you're in, we put your name in the hat, and then we'll draw it next month.
Yeah, we're drawing on the 10th of September.
They'll be up at Wizard World. I don't get to go.
What's the channel called again?
Untitled Nerd Network.
Untitled Nerd.
Like while we're like on the air. I'm
While
like
we're on
over
the
here
air, we're
passing
promoting-
out business
yeah.
cards and stuff.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for your input. We appreciate it when everybody jumps in. So
This episode will be on Saturday.
All right, cool. I'll check it out.
Awesome.
that was cool. Outsider input.
Yes, it's always a plus.
And and I think that's one of the things that I liked about signing on with you is because you keep, like, when we have conversations off the air. We've never had this conversation on the air, but you said that one of the key words in Untitled Nerd Network is network.
Yes,
you
yes,
like
very
networking with our fellow nerds, our fellow geeks.
All the
Which
time.
that's what that just was. That was just on the air networking,
Interesting.
filmed live right here at
It
Infinity
was.
Flux.
It was definitely film. Now, there's some major thought going around that this might be the last episode we see Cersei. Like everybody's just hoping that we get rid of some villain before the end of this season, and I really think that. Here's the thing. I think the next season is going to be totally devoted
Right.
to fire versus ice.
Right. Fire and
the
ice, yeah.
People versus the White Walkers. That's going to be all. That's going to be it.
Right.
So we're going to have to tie up some loose ends in this next episode. And either Cersei is going to join them, and they're always going to have to be watching their backs while she's fighting alongside them, or somebody's going to die.
We've talked about this before. I think Jamie. I think if this meeting goes the way I think it's going to go,
Okay.
Where they're like, here's a living dead man. Here's proof that they exist, and there's an army of them coming. And Cersei goes off on because I truthfully think that Cersei is becoming more the Mad Queen that Daenerys is. I
Yes.
think Daenerys is just trying to juggle more than she's ready for, whereas Cersei has just gone batshit crazy. And I think that she's going to do something in this episode that Jamie recognizes that, okay, this is the same thing that the guy that I put a sword through his back did, and I need to put a sword through her back. Because Jamie's going to be the one to kill her. When she dies, it's going to be by Jamie's hand.
That seems to be a very common thought. Yeah.
But I
it's
don't
either
know
gonna
that
be
it's going to
Jaime
happen
or
this
Tyrion.
episode.
Huh?
I don't know that it's going to happen this episode, though.
Do you think someone may get stabbed or cut in this episode and we not know their fate?
And we get the cliffhanger? Yeah, oh god, they're good at giving us cliffhangers, and I think I predict that what we will see is, as far as cliffhangers goes, we will see the Night King on the south side of the wall,
Okay.
either in Castle Black or Eastwatch Castle. We will see, like you said, somebody taking what appears to be a fatal wound, and we will be left to find out what happened to them, kind of like we did with John when they stabbed John. They stabbed him, and that was it. That was the end of the episode right there. It was like,
We're also looking at, we now know, 99% sure now that the fan theory about there being an ice dragon inside the wall is no longer a thing. because that wouldn't make any sense at this point.
I never bought into that theory. I did. I knew that there was an ice dragon coming, and then up until here recently, when they kind of started sort of foreshadowing it, and so I was like, okay, the Night King's going to kill one and bring it back. And there's still theories going around that Jon's going to be riding Viserion. That somehow Jon's going to find a way to ride Viserion. I didn't read that article. I just saw this article. It was like, Jon will be riding the Ice Dragon, and here's how. And I was like, what?
No.
But
I really think that... I don't think that'll happen. Because I think once the Night King dies...
everything will go. All the whites will go. Yeah, I agree with that, too.
That'll be the end of it.
It's kind of the old school vampire theory of when you kill the master vampire, everything below it goes.
But this also kills the theory that it's going to be Jon, Tyrion, and Daenerys. I think it's going to be Jon and Daenerys.
Jon and Daenerys, and then the Night King's going to be the third dragon rider. I agree with you. Personally, I've been loving the memes that have been coming out of this, where it's talking about him and the spear. Like, have you seen all those?
The only one I've seen that I thought was really, really funny was the Finding Nemo parody that we posted on the page.
Yep, there was the Finding Nemo one. There was one where it was him wearing Olympic outfit and throwing a spear, and then him with the gold medal. So it was like he won the gold medal in javelin throwing. And then there was another one where it's him and the other one, White Walker, and the other White Walker's like, why don't we have dragons? And the Night King's like, hold my beer.
There is also a thought, and I completely buy into this one, that the entire deal that happened Sunday night was a setup. It was a complete setup by the Night King. He was ready for all three dragons. He had 3 spears up there with him.
I saw that one because it was like spear, spear, spear,
yep.
Sword, sword. I saw that one. I
buy that. I really
buy that.
think that's why they surrounded them and didn't attack the whole time, because they knew the dragons were going to show up.
I buy that, and again, that we also have to know. Again, that goes back to the conversation we were having the other day when we were talking. Is how much time is going on between these things, because I think we had that conversation in the chat Sunday night, because you had Gedry run back to the wall. They sent a raven all the way to Dragonstone, and then she got on the dragons and came back. How much time was that? How fast does a raven in Westeros fly?
Pretty fast, but I'm telling you, I don't think that. Well, think about. You remember what was it? The beginning, the last episode of the episode before that, where it showed the flock of ravens flying. Yeah. They were moving pretty quick. I don't know if that was sped up for dramatic effect, but I really think by air you could go from King's Landing to the Wall in a day.
Possible. Yeah. I would have to. I'm gonna have to do some research and come back to that.
I personally do not think that Westeros is as big as what people think it is. I would have to find some definitive...
I've always compared it to England as far as size, and the Wall being an equivalent of crap, I can't remember the name now, but the wall that separated England and Scotland.
I don't know.
Crap.
I'm not familiar with it.
It was I can't remember, and I always talk about it too. The Hadrian's Wall.
Okay.
Because there was a wall all the way across the top of England for a while, and it's about the same size. So, if you look at it, they have said in the books that the wall itself is 100 leagues long, and that a league is equal to 300 miles. So a league is equal to 3 miles. So the wall itself is 300 miles long, according to information in the books and information in the show.
Okay, so you're looking at probably 5 times that from the Wall to King's Landing.
Right.
So 1,500 miles. Okay, I don't know.
And Dragonstone is pretty much right off the coast of
I think that there may be a
Blackwater
bit of
Bay.
retconning going on.
There's got to be something. It's, but either that or, like you were saying, the ravens just fly really, really quick. And of course, dragons, we don't know how fast they really fly, but there's been a lot of, in the most recent seasons, like in the first couple of seasons, they spent like the entire time that they spent on the King's Road, it was 3-4 episodes, right? And then, this last season they went from the end of last season, Daenerys set sail. The beginning of this season, she's arriving in port.
Well, it is called the Narrow Sea.
Yeah, but still, it
I mean,
still
I think
takes
people
some
could
time.
probably swim it if, you know, like the English Channel.
There was something that I read where it talked about how far all the different characters had traveled, and it said if you take Tyrion, right, Tyrion going all the way from the Wall, all the way back down to King's Landing to the Eyrie to everywhere he went, and then over to Essos, and then all the way from Pentos all the way over to Slaver's Bay where he wound up with Daenerys, 6,500 miles
On foot.
on foot / horseback.
It'd take a while.
So, and then I think Daenerys was the second one that traveled the furthest. Like hers is 4,000 and some change. And then there's a couple of others, but they were just talking about how Daenerys started out, she was going to come back to Westeros and claim the kingdom, but she started off going the wrong way because she was supposed to be going west, but she went east. And
Well, she kind of had to.
yeah.
Now, this episode, the finale, is going to be an hour and a half long, roughly. Last season was a positive cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Whereas holy crap, Daenerys finally has the army, she finally has the ships, she finally has everything. She's headed to Westeros.
John's the king of the north.
John's the king of the north, and Cersei has been crowned queen.
Well, I don't know if you call that positive.
Well, it set everything up. You're like, yeah, all pumped up and everything. This episode, do you think it'll be on more of a negative?
I think this episode will probably be along the lines of the ending that we got at the end of Empire Strikes Back. The heroes are going to be kind of downtrodden, and then they're going to be up against the White Walkers and everything, so there's going to be that threat looming.
Do you think another dragon will die?
I doubt that. I really doubt. I mean, it's a possibility, but I put it low on the possibilities of,
Who's going to die first, Cersei or a dragon?
I still stick with Littlefinger. I think Littlefinger's going to die before anybody else dies. I think he's the next one on the list of people to go.
Okay. We'll have to agree.
As far as main characters, because I personally think it's going to be Sansa that kills him. I think he's going to come in and start professing his love or whatever for her again. His obsession with the fact that she's Caitlyn's daughter, and she's just going to gut him like a fish.
Well, I think she's going to have to almost be threatened. I don't think she's just going to kill the guy.
Okay, I will give you that.
He will provoke her in some way.
How do you think them sending Brienne away is going to affect that?
I believe they got rid of her just to get her out of the picture, to get rid of that wild card, because I actually read a theory where they said that they were basically trying to protect Brienne's honor. She's been such an honorable person, trying to protect the
she's
daughters
probably been
and
the
everything,
most honorable in the
and
series.
that they don't want her to get mixed up in all this plotting and scheming and nonsense.
She would have to choose between one of the daughters and therefore betray one of the others.
It would complicate things if she were around.
That's one of the really big changes from the book series that I'm missing in the TV series is Lady Stoneheart. Because in the book series, Caitlyn comes back. She gets resurrected as kind of like the way that the Brotherhood of Light dude gets resurrected. She got brought back the same way.
Okay.
And she went around like in the books. The last time we saw Brienne, Lady Stoneheart was hanging her for losing Arya and Sansa.
Dear God, I wouldn't like that.
Yeah. So and that was the cliffhanger we had with Brienne's story, is that she ran into the Brotherhood and Lady Stoneheart was with the Brotherhood, and I really would have liked to have seen Lady Stoneheart show up somewhere. And somebody said that in the scene where Arya was dueling with Brienne, that Lady Stoneheart walked across the back there, but I don't buy that, because she would have come forward, I think.
I've also heard. Well, we probably need to wrap this up. I've also heard that we're looking at possibly spending a lot of time in this episode on the classic Targaryen story.
Yeah.
I think they're talking about something. They possibly have cast someone to play
Rhaegar
Targaryen.
I've heard that as well.
And they've already got the actress to play Stark. And so, from what I'm understanding, there's a good possibility we might see 20, 30 minutes of this episode, if not more, focusing on the tail end of Robert's Rebellion and seeing
That would be. I would like that. So that means, see, I'm waiting for Sam to show up because Sam's got the book that proves that Jon is a legitimate Targaryen.
Yeah, but nobody's going to be looking at it anytime soon. She doesn't. His wife, girlfriend, whoever. She doesn't know it's important. Sam just glossed over it. Nobody else is going to think, hey, all this crap's going on. Let's look at some books.
Well, no, I think Sam's going. I think there's going to be a part where we see Sam, and he's reading the book that she was reading, and it clicks, and then he's going to come and.
Oh yeah, that's how it's going to be eventually.
Whether he does it this season or next season is beyond me.
It'll probably be the very last episode of the series.
Probably. So again, as we've promised here, we're not going to watch if the hackers have leaked an episode yet. I haven't heard anybody who's leaked the episode yet.
No, but also
they're threatening to.
I heard that they ransomed and threatened to leak the episode.
They've been doing that since the beginning.
HBO didn't pay like $6.5 million to them or something.
That was like the week right after they ransomed it. They were like, you pay us $6 million or we'll start leaking episodes, and HBO hasn't paid them anything yet. So they've been leaking episodes week after week.
Yeah, I will say if this leaks. Well, number one,
we won't watch it.
Number one, I'm not going to watch it. Number two, even if I wanted to, I'm working all weekend, so it ain't going to happen.
Well, no, we talked about this Sunday night. This is something that you and I both agree on.
My integrity level is way too high to go ahead and watch that episode and do an early review. It's just not going to happen.
Right. We're going to give you our review, but for those of you that are watching now, because this is Saturday.
Yep.
Down below in the comments, give us your predictions. What do you think is going to happen tonight? What do you think, who do you think is going to die? What do you think the cliffhanger is going to be? Let us know, give us some feedback, because we love hearing feedback from our fans.
And also, hit the subscribe button, as we talked about earlier, and try to get that loot crate.
If you haven't already subscribed.
Oh, yeah, follow the instructions up there. And also, remember tomorrow night, Sunday, it'll be neighborhood of 10:30 p.m. Eastern. On the East Coast, myself and Sarah will be doing a Game of Thrones finale recap. Are you gonna be? You're gonna be.
I'll be in the chat unless you want to Skype me in somehow.
No, I only do Skype when it's 110% necessary, because whenever we do Skype, it taxes the computer so much to not only be putting out streaming video, but also
it kills your bandwidth.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Oh no, not bandwidth. I'm talking about the computer CPU power, because our streaming program already uses like 60% power.
Oh wow!
And then we do Skype, and it just if you ever look at any of our older live programs where we talk to real life Peter Griffin and a bunch of the other people that we've talked to, and Skype is running, doing a video chat, and we're broadcasting. And the video is doing that, and I'm like...
I could call you on your phone. You could put me on speakerphone.
Perhaps.
If not, I'll be in the chat. My little comment's going.
Oh. But it's going to be a big show. Everybody's going to be watching. Hopefully it doesn't leak between now and then.
And if it does, we will not talk about it until Sunday night when we watch the actual show.
Well, it does suck, because you could tell a lot of people had already watched the leaked episode. They didn't care about watching it Sunday night.
Right.
Because our normal numbers, we're not a major, huge channel. Our Game of Thrones videos, their overnight numbers are anywhere between 100 and 180.
I think we only had 54 this week.
60 over the first week. Oh. So you could tell that people had watched it early and everything else. More power to you. It's just not our thing.
So,
but anyway, this has been
it for us.
This has been our Game of Thrones finale preview. I swore we was going to limit this stuff to 10 or 15 minutes, and
we've rambled on.
Here we are at half an hour almost. So anyway, I'm Lonnie.
I'm Mark.
And we are Untitled Nerd Network, brought to you by Infinity Flux. Remember Wizard World, Loot Crate, all that good stuff. And this has been our Game of Thrones Season 7 finale preview.